Prince William is mourning the loss of his grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II. See how the royals are honoring the late Queen Elizabeth on her birthday. When Prince William stood to read Queen Elizabeth II's last will, the room fell silent as a storm brewed within Buckingham Palace. This wasn't just a simple matter of dividing treasures, it was a revelation that threatened the very foundation of the monarchy. What shocking truths could the late Queen have left behind, hidden from the public eye for so long? Let us uncover the truth that will prove the Queen was actually the victim of a terrible, well-hidden crime. Royal traditions turned upside down, the Queen's will, more than a mere legal document, was a map outlining the future of the monarchy for generations to come. When Prince William began reading it, the air in the room thickened. Each line revealed a new layer of complexity, leaving no doubt that the late Queen's decisions were carefully calculated. This wasn't just about titles or wealth, it was about control, power, and legacy. The monarchy, an institution built on tradition and symbolism, now faced unprecedented changes, and William carried the weight of implementing these transformative wishes. Before we delve into this, it's clear that the Queen's final wishes hold a truth far more shocking than anyone expected. And this won't be the last revelation to leave you stunned. Among the most shocking revelations was the handling of royal properties. Many assumed iconic residences like Buckingham Palace and Windsor Castle would naturally pass to Charles or William, but the Queen's will painted a different picture. Properties previously thought to be family heirlooms were revealed to be part of the Crown estate, meaning they wouldn't belong to any single individual. This decision upset long-standing assumptions and traditions, leaving the royal family and the public in disbelief. Even Balmoral Castle, the Queen's cherished retreat in Scotland, was subject to unexpected arrangements that saw it shared among several family members rather than going directly to Charles or William. Financially, the Queen's wealth was legendary, but the details of her fortune had always been shrouded in secrecy. Her will unveiled a staggering personal wealth accumulated through investments, art, and private ventures. While some assets would naturally remain within royal vaults, others were set aside for specific family members, sparking debates about favoritism and the future balance of power within the monarchy. Prince William realized the enormity of his grandmother's decisions as the intricate distribution of assets made it clear she had a long-term vision for the family. The surprises didn't end with financial wealth. The Queen's personal collection of art and heirlooms also held shocking revelations. Paintings by masters like Rembrandt and Vermeer, long thought to be part of the public royal collection, were revealed to be private treasures. These priceless works were not merely decorative but carried deep historical significance. The Queen had assigned specific family members to inherit these treasures, bypassing the traditional expectation of passing them to the reigning monarch. These decisions raised questions about the future stewardship of such cultural artifacts and whether they would remain within the monarchy's reach. The jewelry collection, often seen as a crown jewel in its own right, was another source of intrigue. The Queen's tiaras, necklaces, and brooches weren't just ornaments but carried centuries of history and symbolism. While Catherine, the Duchess of Cambridge, received several pieces fitting her role as the future Queen consort, other items were reserved for William's children. This move ensured that the younger generation would carry forward the family's legacy, but it also marked a shift from tradition, where such pieces might have been consolidated within the direct line of succession. Beyond material possessions, the will also unveiled a treasure trove of historical documents, rare books, and family manuscripts. These items were more than just keepsakes, they were records of the monarchy's deep-rooted history. The Queen's decision to allocate some of these pieces to specific family members rather than keeping them within the royal archives demonstrated her intent to decentralize the preservation of the monarchy's legacy. This distribution, however, left many wondering if the monarchy's unity could withstand such changes. Prince Charles, now King Charles III, inherited the crown and much more. While his ascension to the throne was expected, the details of what he inherited privately took many by surprise. Estates like Sandringham and Balmoral, along with a host of private investments, placed enormous responsibility on his shoulders. The wealth and assets left by the Queen were not just symbols of power but tools that Charles would need to wield carefully to maintain the monarchy's stability in an era of growing scrutiny. Yet the most unexpected moments came with the Queen's handling of deeply personal items. Her jewelry and other cherished possessions were divided in ways that seemed designed to reflect her emotional bonds with various family members. While William and Catherine were natural recipients of many pieces, the allocation of certain items to less prominent royals hinted at an effort to balance the scales within the family. This approach, while thoughtful, also sowed seeds of tension among those who felt overlooked or undervalued. As William finished reading the will, it was clear the Queen's plans reached far beyond her family, a legacy beyond the palace walls. As the will's contents were revealed, it became evident that the Queen's final wishes extended beyond the immediate family. Charitable causes and institutions she held dear also featured prominently in her plans. These gestures underscored her broader sense of duty, reminding the world that her legacy wasn't confined to royal walls. However, even these decisions carried a weight of controversy, as questions arose about the monarchy's continued role in public life and the distribution of its resources. The reading of the Queen's will marked a turning point for the royal family. For Prince William, the responsibility of navigating these revelations was monumental. As he read through the document, the implications for his future role as king became increasingly clear. The Queen's decisions, while rooted in tradition, were also a bold step into uncharted territory. The balance between preserving the monarchy's heritage and adapting to modern expectations was now his to maintain. Buckingham Palace, once a fortress of stability, found itself at the center of change. The Queen's will, with its unexpected twists and profound implications, left the royal family reeling. The monarchy's future, shaped by her final wishes, would require careful stewardship to weather the challenges ahead. For the British public, the revelations were a reminder that even the most venerable institutions are not immune to upheaval. Surrounding the Queen's will carried a weighty mix of tradition and practicality aimed at keeping the monarchy's roots firm while adapting to a world that expects more. King Charles found himself at the center of this crossroads, holding a responsibility far beyond personal gain. As a monarch, his mission was to honor the immense legacy left by his mother while steering the institution toward relevance in a rapidly shifting world. For Prince William, the inheritance of royal properties and heirlooms wasn't just a milestone, it was a defining moment in his path as the future king. These newly inherited treasures didn't just symbolize his growing power but marked the beginning of a new chapter where he had to balance the weight of tradition with the demands of modernity. The Queen's will wasn't just a division of wealth but a detailed plan reflecting her vision for the future. Prince William was tasked with safeguarding the legacy of these assets, from jewels to estates, while embodying the values instilled in him by his grandmother. This moment wasn't just about managing treasures, it was about honoring a monarchy that values history, culture, and family ties. Her rare books, antiques, and other personal possessions were not merely distributed, they were thoughtfully entrusted to specific family members. This ensured that each piece continued to tell the story of a monarchy deeply intertwined with its past while also hinting at its evolving future. Balmoral and Sandringham, the Queen's cherished private estates, stood as physical embodiments of royal history and personal memories. Balmoral, her peaceful Scottish retreat, wasn't just a property but a haven where the royal family found solace away from public life. Similarly, Sandringham was steeped in sentiment, hosting countless family Christmases and marking pivotal moments in royal history. These estates, more than just bricks and mortar, symbolized a lineage of traditions that had shaped the monarchy's identity. Yet the big question remained, who would inherit these beloved homes? The will's revelation showed that these estates were to remain within the family, ensuring their historical significance would endure. Prince William's deep connection to Balmoral and Sandringham, where he spent much of his childhood, added an emotional layer to this inheritance. But these decisions weren't just about emotion, they were strategic moves to keep these estates as pillars of the monarchy's continuity. King Charles, on the other hand, had to consider whether passing these properties to his son would honor his mother's legacy or diminish his own responsibilities as the current monarch. The stakes were high, and the emotions tied to these homes made the choices even more challenging. As the dust settled, these estates stood as more than just symbols of heritage, they became battlegrounds for defining the monarchy's future. After settling the properties, attention turned to the Queen's jewels and keepsakes, each holding special meaning from her life. The royal jewels carried history forward. Among these treasures was the Queen's personal collection, including iconic pieces like the Vladimir tiara, which held stories of their own. These weren't just glittering treasures, they represented milestones in her reign and personal life. While the crown jewels, owned by the state, were secured for ceremonial use, the Queen's personal jewelry carried her legacy in a far more intimate way. Prince William's reading of the will revealed the meticulous care with which the Queen decided who would carry on the history attached to each piece. Whether it was brooches gifted by foreign leaders or necklaces passed down through generations, every item carried a unique significance that extended beyond monetary value. Speculation swirled around who would receive these precious jewels. Many believed that Kate, Duchess of Cambridge, would inherit significant pieces as a future Queen consort, ensuring continuity within the monarchy. Others speculated that Camilla, the Queen consort, might hold some of these treasures to symbolize her growing role in the royal family. But the underlying message of the Queen's decisions was clear: these jewels weren't merely adornments but a tangible link to her life and reign. For Prince William, inheriting these items wasn't just an honor, it was a responsibility to uphold the traditions they represented. The stakes were similarly high for the crown jewels. Though these were never part of the Queen's personal will, as state property, they were destined to pass to the reigning monarch, serving as enduring symbols of royal authority. Yet their role in the monarchy's public image was critical. The crown jewels were more than historic artifacts, they were emblems of the monarchy's place in the modern world. For Prince William, the inheritance of these jewels and estates came with an unspoken challenge: to modernize without erasing the past. The Queen's decisions laid the groundwork for this delicate balancing act. Her personal possessions, from tiaras to antiques, were handed down with a sense of purpose, ensuring that their stories remained intertwined with the monarchy's future. The distribution of these treasures highlighted a thoughtful approach to legacy, one that blended emotional resonance with strategic foresight. As the monarchy moves forward, the Queen's will serves as a blueprint for navigating the complexities of inheritance, tradition, and change. It's not just about wealth or power but about preserving the essence of what the monarchy stands for. Balmoral and Sandringham remain as testaments to the monarchy's enduring connection to its history, while the jewels symbolize a lineage that continues to evolve. These treasures, in the hands of the next generation, will play a pivotal role in shaping the monarchy's relevance in the years to come. With every decision detailed in the Queen's will, the royal family faces the challenge of ensuring that her legacy doesn't become a relic of the past but a foundation for the future. The inheritance isn't just material, it's a responsibility to carry forward values that have defined the monarchy for centuries. Prince William and King Charles, as they step into their roles, must navigate these expectations while addressing the demands of a rapidly changing society. The Queen's will has set the stage, but the choices they make will determine how well her vision endures in a world that continues to evolve. One particularly notable piece was the halo tiara, gifted to Queen Elizabeth on her 18th birthday. This tiara, now passed to Camilla, marked a turning point in her position as Queen consort. It wasn't just a piece of jewelry, it was a public acknowledgement of her place in the monarchy. The transfer of these treasures symbolized continuity, connecting the past to the present and ensuring that the monarchy's traditions remained intact. But with these gifts came significant responsibilities. Expectations for Camilla's every move, outfit, and decision would now be viewed under an even brighter spotlight, with critics and admirers alike ready to judge her actions. The Queen's will wasn't just a distribution of assets, it was a carefully crafted statement about the future. By choosing to pass these iconic items to Camilla, Queen Elizabeth sent a message of approval and trust. For Camilla, inheriting these pieces also meant taking on the weight of their history and symbolism. The jewels weren't just about elegance, they were a tangible connection to the monarchy's legacy and a tool for reinforcing its image in a rapidly changing world. Camilla's role wasn't just ceremonial, it was deeply tied to maintaining the monarchy's relevance and stability. Among all the treasures, one item given to Harry stood out, showing both a connection to the past and a hope for understanding: the sword that tied Harry to his past. Meanwhile, the will also touched on other members of the royal family, each inheritance steeped in personal and symbolic meaning. For Prince Harry, the Queen's decision was particularly intriguing. Despite his departure from royal duties and the ensuing controversies, he was left with a deeply meaningful item, the ceremonial sword of his great-great-grandfather, King George VI. This inheritance wasn't about wealth or property but about reconciliation and acknowledgement. The sword, a symbol of protection and strength, was tied to Harry's military service and personal path. It raised questions about whether this gesture was an olive branch or simply a poignant reminder of his royal ties. For Harry, this inheritance highlighted the complicated relationship he had with the royal family. The sword symbolized a connection to his heritage, but it also underscored the distance between him and his family's expectations. Would this act of inclusion bridge the gap or serve as a constant reminder of his struggles within the royal fold? The gesture from the Queen seemed to say that despite everything, Harry was still a part of the family story. Yet, the full impact of this inheritance on his relationship with the monarchy remains to be seen. The Queen's will also offered insights into her values and vision for the monarchy's future. For Prince Charles, now King Charles III, the inheritance went beyond material wealth. It was a reflection of the immense responsibility he had carried as heir apparent. Personal items and letters from his mother served as reminders of her guidance and expectations. These pieces weren't just sentimental, they were tools to help him navigate his new role as monarch. For Prince William, the will was both a gesture of love and a clear message about the responsibilities he would shoulder in shaping the monarchy's future. The Queen's will didn't just look backward, it was a roadmap for the future. She laid out her wishes for her younger grandchildren, emphasizing the importance of their education and preparation for their eventual roles. For Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis, the message was clear: their lives would be deeply intertwined with the monarchy's evolution. These plans reflected the Queen's belief that tradition and change must coexist for the monarchy to thrive in a modern world. Her guidance extended not only to her children and grandchildren but to the entire institution of the monarchy. As the royal family processed the contents of the will, it became apparent that Queen Elizabeth had carefully balanced tradition with pragmatism. She understood that the monarchy needed to adapt to survive. The items she chose to pass down, whether jewelry, letters, or other personal belongings, were not just heirlooms but symbols of the values she hoped to instill in her descendants. These choices demonstrated her deep understanding of the monarchy's place in British society and its need to evolve while maintaining its core identity. For Camilla, the inheritance of the Queen's jewels marked the beginning of a new chapter. The public scrutiny she faced was intense, but the jewels served as a reminder of the trust placed in her by the late Queen. They were both a privilege and a challenge, symbolizing the weight of the monarchy's legacy. For Harry, the sword was a bittersweet token of his place in the family. It represented both inclusion and the complexities of his relationship with the royal institution. For King Charles and Prince William, the will was a call to action, a reminder of their duties and the importance of unity in ensuring the monarchy's future. Queen Elizabeth's will was more than a legal document, it was a reflection of her legacy and the lessons she wanted to pass on. It was a testament to her foresight and her commitment to the monarchy's survival. The items she chose to leave behind carried deep symbolic weight, reminding her family of their shared history and the responsibilities they bore. As the royal family moves forward, they will do so with the knowledge that the late Queen's influence continues to guide them. The future of the monarchy now rests in the hands of those who inherited her legacy. Whether through jewels, swords, or personal letters, each piece of the Queen's will carries a story and a purpose. The challenge for the royal family will be to honor her wishes while navigating the complexities of a modern world. The monarchy's ability to adapt and remain relevant will determine whether Queen Elizabeth's legacy endures for generations to come. Her final words and gifts serve as both a reminder and a challenge to her heirs, to uphold the values she cherished and to carry the monarchy forward into an uncertain future. Could Queen Elizabeth's will hold revelations that could shatter the monarchy, or is it all being hidden to protect royal confidentiality? Share your thoughts and remember to like and subscribe for more.